Hello, hello, what's going on, flickin' fanatics and members of the Boba Federation? It is I, Jesse Swift, here with Sean Wingblade and our very special guest, first time on the show, first guest of 2022. We made it a big one, and that is Sean knows all the titles.
I do all the titles?
Player of the Year, Star Wars Schmodown competitor,
Yes.
The one, the only, the magnificent Adam Witt, the wittiest person on screen. How are you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing great. Any day when there's a Boba Fett TV show is a good day for me. People can complain about all the crazy stuff going on in the world and get all depressed about that, but all I see is Spider-Man and Hawkeye and Boba Fett, and I'm a very happy boy. So I guess the world can basically burn as long as I'm watching a Spider-Man movie or a Boba Fett TV show, I guess.
Everyone be more like Adam.
Jesse and I were talking earlier about like release dates on movies and stuff. We're like, oh yeah, this and that. We realized, or at least I realized, not a single Marvel thing came out in 2020, and not much of anything came out in 2020.
Yeah.
But since then, we have had such an embarrassment of just content and riches.
It's amazing.
In the geek culture to just hit us all at once. Just
Absolutely.
The fact we came up with, because spoiler alert, me and Sean do some studying together, is
Nice.
that I was like 2009 and 2020 since 2008 are the only 2 years without MCU content.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, what years?
And
2009 and 2020. Everything
Yeah,
else has had
19.
MCU.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was like, no, that's not true. And then I just had like, my mind was just blown. I was just
Yeah.
like, hold on. It's
So wait, 2008, that's Iron Man, right? That's the
Right.
big homecoming,
And then then Incredible
Incredible
Hulk is
Hulk.
all 2008. And then
also 2008.
Iron Man 2 didn't come out until 2010.
Oh,
So we get the
okay.
off year.
Is Captain America and Thor
We're 10 and 11.
2011.
10 and 11?
Or they're
Oh,
both
wow.
11.
They were
They're
both in
both
11.
Both in 11.
Yep. And
Yeah,
then
wow.
obviously Avengers and 12. But we are here to talk about Disney properties today, but not Marvel. We're here to talk about the Book of Boba Fett streaming on Disney Plus on Wednesdays, or if you are hardcore like some of us, Tuesday nights at midnight. Set your alarms. Anyways, we did do a watch along. You guys can watch if you haven't already seen the first episode. You can do a watch along with us for the first episode, but this is our first review of the show, so we are going to be doing a quick recap of our thoughts on episode 1, which apparently was kind of divisive amongst fans. But I mean, divisive and Star Wars never go hand in hand. So we'll talk about that.
Because there's so many fans. Everyone's like, but I thought everyone hated Last Jedi. Once people start saying they like Last Jedi, you're like, I think it's different people.
It's a different
thought there was only
group of
5.
the internet raising their voice at
Yeah.
different moments of time.
Mankind was not meant to know what everyone was thinking all the time. This is what's wrong with the internet.
That's why I only watch local news in the morning. I'm like, I don't need to know about a car fire in Florida.
No.
I live in California. Just,
There's enough car fires going on to go around. Enough car fires to go around.
I have to agree with Allison Salamani. Look at all these dapper beards we have going on tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I haven't gotten to. I don't think anyone's going to ever make the white look that good, but Adam's got it down to a science.
I try and rock it. I'm happy for the compliments. I should be absolutely ashamed that I went gray before I was 40. But
Hey, you know what? Steve Martin, I think, did it in his 20s, and he looked good doing it.
hmm I have pieces in here, and I'll get them in my eyebrows.
Yeah.
And my wife will just come pluck them. I'm like, no, they're more and more grow I can't have you pluck all my freaking eyebrows out. Just stop it. It hurts.
yeah, you're like at some point you're like, no, I need eyebrows because now
Yes.
they're once they all go gray, it's like no, you're going to pluck me bare.
When they first sprouted, she would pluck them out of my beard, but now I have so damn many of them. I'm like, no, stop it. Leave me alone.
Just got to own it. Just got to own it.
Let's kick off our Chapter 1 recap. And me and Sean have talked ad nauseum about our thoughts about the first episode. We watched it together, so all our thoughts were right there. But Adam, I have no idea what you think about the show, so I'd like to get some of your overall thoughts. Where do you side with as far as like kind of the internet majority seems to be leaning one way or the other? Is this what you were looking for?
I've got one thing to say about episode 1 of the Book of Boba Fett. Forlom. The person that brought those Gamorrean guards in, it may not be exactly Forlom, but that's pretty close to Forlom. Is definitely in the. I haven't looked up and figured out what that character is called, but he's definitely a 5 Lom, maybe a 6 Lom, but I think he's in the Lom world. But I was making the joke, I think on Cinefanatics or something, about what we expected to see in Book of Boba Fett, and I was like, 4 Lom and Zuckuss. I want 4 Lom and Zuckuss, and pretty close. Pretty close. I got a 4 Lom substitute enough to make me happy in the first episode. But seriously, folks,
describe for me 4 Lom.
4 Lom?
Which one was that?
Okay, well, if you are looking at the bounty hunters, the famous lineup of the bounty hunters, from left to right, you would go Dengar, IG-88, Boba Fett, Bosk, 4 Lom, Zuckuss.
Okay.
So that's the one, the bughead guy with a robot body.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's 4 Lom.
So not this guy.
But boy, is it great to see 8D8 back.
He is nightmare fuel.
Also,
because those eyes, I can't stop seeing it in my dreams.
So good.
One of my favorite actors from recent television is Matt Berry.
Matt Berry, right?
Yeah.
He's so funny. Yeah, that's a great thing, too. I love 88. I had the 88 action figure when I was a kid, so I think somebody got that wrong as their final question in the Schmodown last season, and I was screaming at the TV. I was like, 88, baby, 88, because I knew that one quite well. But the great thing about Boba Fett, Star Wars in general, is Star Wars burns through characters. Hey, there's Jawas. Now there's not. Now we're on to the next thing. Hey, there's sand people, and now there's not. They're on to the next thing. That's the great thing about Star Wars, is it's just like overpopulated universe. Because if you dropped somebody into our world, it would be, there's the there's the cafe owner, there's a casino magnate, there's a this.
Here's
and
Luke's friends from a deleted scene.
Don't skip yet to chapter 2. Don't skip yet to chapter 2. Also from the Star Wars radio show, those two characters. But we'll get to them. But chapter 1, this is fantastic because, Boba Fett is a character with only 6 minutes of screen time, famously in the original series. But of course, a lot of people don't know, maybe, he is so popular because the action figure for him came out 2 years before The Empire Strikes Back. So people said, 6 minutes of screen time. But for any kid who played with Star Wars toys, he had hundreds of hours of screen time and hundreds of adventures before we even saw The Empire Strikes Back. So the great thing about the Boba Fett is filling in this, not filling in this world, but taking the world that's been filled in and then moved on from, and taking all all Easter eggs, right? We get to spend time with sand people. We get to spend time, the Sarlacc pit, that thing we thought we left in Return of the Jedi. And, everybody wanted Boba Fett to be alive, and I'm sure he came back in the books. I didn't read a whole lot of books. But what we see, the hand coming out of the sand and, and how he survived, this has been in the geek imaginings for decades now, and to actually get to see it happen for real, to see Boba Fett really escape the Sarlacc and then have to survive. And,
I heard Patton Oswalt screaming somewhere.
Hello, yes. Star Wars champion Brennan.
Hey, Star Wars champion Brennan Marr. Hello.
I think that Robert Rodriguez is just a Patton Oswalt fan, so he choreographed the entire scene based off of Patton's direction from, was it Parks and Rec or Community?
Yes,
Parks and Rec, I think.
Yeah. So now we're just waiting for our crossover with Thanos, as predicted by Patton Oswalt.
But really, if you're gonna shoot Boba Fett coming back, I mean, why not have the hand? I mean, why wouldn't you do that?
There's no other way to do it.
I like the detail of having a trooper in there, having him use the air. I don't know what you would call it, the air tube, so they can breathe in various different locations. And
also, we never saw a stormtrooper go into the Sarlacc pit in Return of the Jedi. That guy ended up there on a patrol for C-3PO. like whoa, completely off screen.
He had been there for a while.
Right.
I wonder what
slowly decomposing for thousands of years.
What did he look like inside of the armor? The armor was preserved, but what did he look like inside?
Probably worse than Boba did later when he's all sun bleached and stuff. So like my thoughts in general on this episode is like, because there was some really like just vitriolic takes online when this came out. Like I was seeing so much hatred, and I was like, whoa, can we relax and calm down? It's a pilot episode. Like, it seems like an intense overreaction. Did I think it was my favorite episode of Disney Plus television? No. Was it my favorite piece of Star Wars? Also no. But from beginning to end, I had a good time and I was enjoying it, which is what I was hoping for. And it was more Tamora Morrison, who I'm a big fan of. And what I compared it to is it's literally called the Book of Boba Fett. It was chapter 1. If you, any of you, us that have read a book in our lives, did you read the first chapter of the book and have your entire opinion of the rest of the book figured out from that first chapter?
Right.
You read on. So with chapter 2, we got to read on. And I think that there's just not... Movies and television feel very different. And a lot of these shows are 6 to 7 hour movies. And they're paced as such.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of people that dipped on WandaVision within 2 episodes.
So Act 1 takes an hour and a half in this case, you know?
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, WandaVision. I mean, if you don't wait till the end of WandaVision, it's like laying an assessment on Avengers in Act 1 of like, I don't know, they kind of like Cap punched a few things and then they got on the aircraft carrier, but not much happened. I think Avengers is terrible.
They're not even a team yet.
They're not even a team yet. What?
Yeah. No,
I don't get it. Point. Yeah, exactly. I mean, any Act 1 does not stand up as the whole. You know,
think of most people would have been bored out of their minds for the first, like, if you do 30 minutes of Avengers Endgame and then rank the rest of the movie off that.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, Captain America didn't even come in.
Did you like, I want to know your thoughts on the modern stuff we had going on in the first episode, as well as our introduction to what has been a big chunk of the show so far, and that is the Tusken encampment, or whatever village you want to refer to that as. What do you really like or not like about chapter 1?
Well, I love the way that they connect it with when he goes into the Bacta tank, that they use that as the reason. Because easily you could see in these first 2 episodes that maybe they intended that to be the first act, was all the Sand People stuff. He gets out, all this sort of stuff. And then decided to edit it back and forth as a way of giving you a little bit of the promised story, you know, once he takes the throne, what happens then. For people who might be antsy to get to that part, they decided to montage it only to piss people off. Only to imagine that makes some people not happy. But no, I mean, it's so, what's happening, like there's so many unanswered questions that we never thought to ask and then have not answered about Return of the Jedi or the Star Wars universe. Like, when Jabba dies, there's an enormous power vacuum. It's the equivalent of Godfather beginning after they kill Marlon Brando. And that's in credits. You're like, that's probably going to cause some ramifications. But we never really thought about that. And the idea that he's a gangster, there's now a power vacuum. And also that Boba Fett doesn't know how to do that. Like, he's got to now figure out what world... You know, the mob has all these ties and keeps everything calm and shakes this hand and puts this guy in contact with that. And now that's all just gone, you know?
Yeah. My wife also has similar sentiments. She loves Phoenix, no nonsense, and will kill anybody attitude. And I think Star Wars is at its best when it's resembling either some kind of like real form politics or like mafia, and like sometimes when we take a step back from the fantasy elements of it and have something grounded to attach it to, like I think like in the animated series, the politics in the Clone Wars animated show, I think is fascinating and interesting. And when you get to the ramifications of what war really means within this universe, I love that. Was it handled the best in the prequels? No, but on paper, I find it fascinating. And then with this, you're dealing with, like you said, like Godfather, Mafia, mobster stuff, and I love that. And we'll get into it with chapter 2, but like when we meet the mayor, like all that stuff's working on every level for me.
And we never even thought about that. Oh, Mos Espa has a mayor. You just never thought about that. But of course Mos Espa has a mayor. I just love that they're fleshing things out away from the breakneck pace of the movies, which I love, because they just fill in a universe and then just move on. And you're like, what was that? Who was that guy? And now they actually, in these shows, they can go take all this time, because if we'd had a whole Star Wars movie about Sand People, we would have been very satisfied. Yeah, seriously.
She's ready to let everyone know. Everyone can find out.
I like
every
that,
turn.
Much like Mandalorian being like very episodic, this show has something for everyone. And even though my wife and I are both enjoying the show, we like different elements of it. She's very in tune and enjoying everything involving the Tusken. I want more present day stuff. We'll get with what's going on with Chapter 2, but like everything about what Boba has to do in his learning process and everything with like him and Finnick, that's all work for me. That has me really excited. That's what I want more of.
But spoiler alert, you're gonna get it. They ain't gonna leave it be. They're not gonna spend the rest of the show out in the desert with sand people. We're gonna get it. You're gonna get something big coming up.
At some point he leaves them, obviously, because he comes back. He gets his armor.
He's got his get up that he had in Mandalorian.
Right.
Yeah, that's cool. We saw the origin of that. Like, because when he showed up in the Mandalorian, I'm like, that's a Tusken Raider tool looking thing, or that is cool. And I just assumed he'd killed a Tusken Raider and taken it.
Right.
But they have a very different idea. Yeah. This is way better.
He was welcomed in. He became one of them. It's very, we've seen it. It's a story that's seen all over movies and media in general. Dances with Wolves, or whatever other movie and remake it's been of. And it's nice to also see that they're paying such a I don't know if homage is the right word, but paying respect to kind of what the Raiders are based off of, which is very much like an indigenous people who were,
and we never thought of them that way.
No, never.
Never. They were just these horrible creatures from the desert or whatever. To switch that point of view is radical. That's just really deeply thought out Star Wars stuff.
Which started a lot of
kind of
really
started
positive,
in Mandalorian, though.
Yeah, because I've been hearing a lot of positive reception to like the indigenous people aspect of it.
And like it started in Mandalorian when he in a moment he humanizes the wrong word. Obviously, they're not humans, but like he helped us empathize with them by doing the ASL, or I guess whatever Tusken sign language.
It'd be TSL.
TSL. And reasoning with them instead of just conflict and clash right away, immediately, all the time. And it's like, oh no, they're people. They're not just monsters. Whatever.
One thing that we can learn is that Tusken Raiders are people that can be talked to and reasoned with, and Jawas are little shits. That is the general.
Nobody's spinning you around to feel for the Jawas. Yeah, no. The Tusken Raiders are getting a good treatment here, but the Jawas are still,
Just wait till next season on the Book of Jabba Fett. They get him a little cloak. He has dark sunken eyes. You can't see his face anymore. It'll be great.
But I gotta say, people are like, oh, too many flashbacks, blah 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 blah. But none of us saw any of this coming. None of us thought that there would be a story of his origin. Maybe we thought that we would see the Sarlacc, but nobody thought that we would get this whole story.
It wasn't in the marketing at all.
No. And we love sand people because we love Star Wars. It's part of the universe. And to get more sand people, like, yes, please. But to actually, do the deep things they're doing and then have them, like, tied in with Boba Fett. And to see, we've never seen Boba Fett do anything. Think about that until this show. We've never seen Boba Fett do anything. He gets Luke. He gets called onto a Star Destroyer. He gets Han Solo, and then he takes it to Jabba the Hutt, and he goes into the Sarlacc. That's all he's ever done. And so now, for the very first time, we're seeing Boba Fett do stuff. We're seeing he's resourceful in the desert. We're seeing that how he makes his way, how he's such a survivor, how he's such a badass. It's awesome. They're really filling in some great details. And for a character that's this popular, for having this little mythology, you could mess up at any moment. You could the next thing you do could be the thing we don't want to see. It's like when they made Superman Returns. It's like, and people thought, oh, they shouldn't have done this. They shouldn't have done that. Yeah, well, hey, I'm a big fan of Superman Returns. I only say that because I was listening to the score today, which is fantastic. But it does remind me that, like, you give Superman a kid.
John Ottman, I believe.
John
Ottman, absolutely. Yes, if we're training here.
Frequent Bryan Singer collaborator.
It took me about my 10 out of my 15 seconds to
name another superhero movie he did the score for.
X-Men.
X2.
There we go. Name another
Michael Kamen did X-Men.
Oh, you're right.
What I was going to say about everyone with their expectations of Boba Fett is I feel like I have the benefit of being 20 years late to the Boba Fett hype train. So, I watched... I don't know, let's say 99 or 98 or something, I watched Empire Strikes Back. So, like, Boba Fett was a character in the movie. It was, like, later on that I realized that people have, like, this thing about Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. Like, I got into Boba Fett as the prequels were coming out, and that didn't really help. I was like, oh, Jango Fett's cool.
Yeah.
But, Boba Fett as a kid has more screen time, I believe, than Boba Fett does in the original trilogies.
Yeah.
So,
but like everything in Star Wars, he's a thing that comes and goes and fills in the universe. Like Tian Madan. We don't get much time with him. We don't get much time with that planet or anything in Star Wars. So Boba Fett just sort of fits into that Star Wars thing of like, oh, there's a snowtrooper. Well, now we're on to the next thing. Like, what was that? What was this? What's an AT-AT? Moving on.
As an all-white trooper. Did you guys watch
Super Trooper?
Was it Under the Helmet? I forgot what the special was called.
Yes, I did, and I already knew all that information, but it was nice to see it all put together.
This is why I don't compete in Star Wars against Adam Witt, everybody.
It's easy to beat me. Haven't you watched?
I do not have room to talk. I had quite a season.
Because we haven't played you.
With that, I think we got to wrap up. Unless there's anything else you guys want to say about Chapter 1 before we start diving into Chapter 2.
I mean, a lot of the things that I want to say about that come back because they really are, and I do think people are right that this was meant to be one big premiere movie where we would go back and forth. Although I would say don't say goodbye to flashbacks. I think everyone's like, okay, that's it for flashbacks, right?
Yeah.
Because the second episode is more than half of it is flashback, and great stuff. I mean, a full adventure in the flashback. Like the people are complaining about the flashbacks the way you should if it was cursory. If it was like, well, let's fill in a little something here. But I'm like, no, it's major. Like these sand troopers, like what he does in Chapter 2, they're going to come back. This is going to be his, army in the future. This is going to be a big deal.
Well, it makes me wonder about we don't necessarily know Boba's personality. We don't know his ethics, his code, right?
Right.
We know like the Mandalorian code because of other content we've been watching.
Yeah.
Because the cartoons, and I haven't seen all the Clone Wars TV show, so I don't know like
Boba's
what he brought to that show. Right. I know he like a few episodes or something, but I like seeing him in the first episode walk around Mos Espa, and like I'm gonna rule with respect, not fear. I'm not out here to kill everyone. I'm not like Jabba, etc. So is that part of his code? Has that always been his code, or is that something he learned from the Tuskens? Is that something he learned, and that's what we're seeing as his? Maybe we're seeing him prove himself to them, but we're not seeing him converse much or whatever. So was he actually an asshole and just trying to survive, but now they're going to change him and help him grow to be a better person, a more respectful person? And I think that's kind of what we're going to continue to see.
Well, in a discussion I had, what we see basically is the rebirth of Boba Fett in these first two episodes. When he is readorned a sand people himself, when he's adorned with the uniform or the desert warrior or whatever, that's his official full rebirth. So whatever he was before, whatever he thought he was before, has now changed. I mean, we really do have a new Boba Fett that's going to approach things in a new way. He doesn't, he was literally reborn. He died in the pit and came out like a baby, squeezed out of the ground like a newborn child, and
he looked like one.
Yeah.
Like a wrinkly baby.
But then he was raised by this new fathers of his or whatever, I mean, truthfully, like Boba Fett, I mean, I could see flashbacks where we learned about his old ethos. I mean, that would be really admirable and deep of the show to do that, to say, oh no, I was this guy. I mean, to do the Unforgiven thing. No, the guy I was back then, that's not me anymore. And, and then someone pulls him back to go, all right, I am a little that guy. Right. Once you cross me. Mm-hmm. By the way, I just have to say, there's nothing I love more than someone not knowing who they're messing with. When you've got a badass that other people don't know is a badass, whether it's your Jack Reacher, whether it's your, and to just see that constantly with Boba Fett is a real joy to me. Of like I don't think you know who you're messing with, pal. Or Fennec Shand as well. Like I don't think you know who you're messing with, pal. You're in trouble.
All those guards coming after them.
Yeah, right. Good luck.
Jesse, you're muted. I like trying to read your lips. It's fun. It's
I was saying nothing but
segment.
curses. Nothing but curses. Yeah. We're gonna stop the train.
Stop the train.
I will say that I hate to be a nitpick person, but like I love so much of this. But skipping ahead a little bit, there are a lot of moments where he would do one gesture and speak like 4 sentences, and I'm like,
of course.
And then there was times where like he just stopped gesturing and kept talking to him. I was like, so we just gotta assume that they communicate through sign language but can understand your common whatever. All right, guys, let's go into our overall thoughts and feelings about Chapter 2 and talk about it. And just a reminder, please, if you haven't already, like the video. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. And also, if you want to ask Mr. Adam Witt some questions, we do have the Streamlabs link right above me. Boom, 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 boom. And that's how we get more guests. We offer them monies if we get any.
Now, by the way, how do we do this?
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
By the way, the L and the U here. There's a thing in typography called letting. Be careful. Don't go to what this says. You will get an entirely different show.
You know what? While you're sharing your thoughts, I'm gonna do some editing.
That's where I was streaming earlier today. That's our After Dark special.
Right.
Thank you for pointing that out, because that is not something I noticed.
No problem. Don't edit it now. Don't edit it now. Let's talk about Boba Fett. Overall thoughts and feelings.
Yes. Allison's in charge of the in-real fan cast.
Allison, you might want to go to the other one and just see if anybody's there looking for
how come we can't get
sexier content than this. I can see a lot of people going there and going, Boba Fett.
Oh man. Okay.
No, overall thoughts, feelings. So is this for chapter 1 or chapter 2 or
this
both?
Is for chapter 2. Just so like we'll get into the nitty gritty, but what was your?
We have a guest. She wants to say hi.
It's the DVD thrower.
Yes,
I know because I edited those promos, and I was very happy to get it's a good laugh in the timing there. That was good.
Number 10 of all the amazing talents of Adam Witt. So yeah, we're talking about our overall thoughts and feelings about chapter 2, which is kind of like, in short, if you were doing a letterbox review, how you felt about this. And Adam, we'll again start with you because you are the guest, so we want to give you all the screen time.
It is one amazing thing after another in this episode. It just, so many things happen in this episode. So many things get revealed. I mean, there's the entire time with the Tuskens and the train heist, which, and I love the genre stuff in Star Wars too. When you could do a little cowboy thing like a train heist, when you could do a little samurai thing, teach the natives how to defend themselves. But just on the streets of Mos Espa, I love how there's the running joke of him not coming in on a litter. And then finally you hear the drums going, oh, that right there. That right there. When he walks out, to talk to them, and that pose he's doing right there is the same one he does behind Jabba in Return of the Jedi. And I love that that's a reference, that he folds his hands over his gun like that. But, I mean, the posing, every time they make him pose, it just makes me so happy. The fact that he has Gamorrean guards as his guards is amazing.
Right.
That's okay.
First try.
But I mean, and then just when we're already excited about this because he's going to have to juggle all these, all these crime lords, all this sort of stuff, and then here comes an actual Jabba, an actual hut, 2 huts.
Oh, that is our Streamlab warning.
Hey!
I need it now. It's my money, and I need it.
I'm always happy when JJ Wentworth pops in to let us know we have money.
We have a Streamlab from the always wonderful Allison Salamoni.
Allison, hello.
And Allison says, but can we gush a bit over the mayor's major domo? How delightful is he? I do not know this actor. I feel like I know him.
Oh,
but
I'll tell you who that actor is.
Please,
I'll tell you who that actor is.
Enlighten me. I love him.
That actor is legendary improviser David Pasquesi. He is a friend of friends of mine. I was an improviser in Chicago, and Dave Pasquesi was a god of improv. And if you're ever interested in improv or Dave Pasquesi, I highly suggest the documentary Trust Us, This Is All Made Up, which is the documentary made of the show of him and TJ Jagodowski, who is a friend, and who people do know from the Sonic commercials. The goofy one of those two is T.J. Jagodowski, and he is an improv partner with Dave Pasquesi. And Pasquesi is just an improv legend in Chicago. He pops up in all kinds of things. At Home with Amy Sedaris, he's always great in that show. He's
Again, from Star Wars family.
Huh? Oh yeah. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
What? And lots of comedians. The Biker Scouts in Mandalorian were Jason Sudeikis and somebody else.
Yeah.
The Horatio Sands was the first guy that he freezes in The Mandalorian. So yeah, they love casting. Well, and comedians. Bill Burr.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
But specifically, Chicago improv comedians end up in these shows a lot, and so I'm very curious who's doing the casting. I mean, Sarah Holly Finn has a casting producer credit, but yes, that is Dave Pasquesi, and he's an improv legend, and I get very excited. Oh, and also in season 1, another friend and a guy who was on Second City Main Stage the entire time I was taking classes, Kevin. I'm forgetting his last name, but from Delocated. But anyway, I get all excited about Chicago improvisers showing up in these shows. That's who that is.
Know that guy.
Yeah, exactly. It's very exciting.
It's
lots of
not
Chicago
just
improvisers.
like, oh, I recognize him. It's like, I know that guy.
Yeah.
That's cool.
He to speak about.
Adam Powell, who was the other Biker Scout.
Yeah.
Kevin Dorff.
The major domo, right? That was his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what his actual name is.
His major domo. Yeah, his apologies. Like his such calm,
Apologies.
like submissive, but also like subvertive, like, and the backhandedness of every word he was saying.
Yeah,
right.
Just,
Don't be
like,
surprised
amazing.
if you receive another delegation.
Yeah.
Mm.
Right.
You know.
Oh, I know. What a
just
wiener. It's so great.
One more thing. Yeah.
A matter of tribute.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like, did they give Jeff Goldblum a Twilight card?
Oh, I was trying to figure out who is he
that's-
channeling, and
yeah,
that's yes. Absolutely.
But I really love if you're going to be a major domo like that and you're going to try and play every side and try and do everything for your master the correct way, like that's the way you would approach things. You know, I just really love that. But that's not the way it's done. I'm not going to, But I'd love that Boba Fett is in the middle of a world that he has no idea what's about to happen because he is.
In the first one, when one of the guys comes in, he's like, "I used to work for him." That's weird.
Imagine how he feels. Well, you got to think. I mean, so this is now 5 years later, right? Since Jabba died, because the flashbacks are like
because Mandalorian
days
is 5
later.
years after.
Yeah, because the flashbacks are days later. This is now 5 years later.
Okay, right.
So Bib was in charge for that long. So how were things run with Bib in charge? And was there an absence of power in between Jabba's death and Bib, and then obviously Bib for this? But like, what were the rules? Like, what exactly was happening?
I can't imagine Bib Fortuna was in charge for too long. I feel like he's like, oh, I'm in charge now, but that's not really the way it works. Like whoever, like the power structure of the Mafia, it doesn't just work that way of like, oh, my assistant, Fredo's in charge now or whatever. Like that just, actually Godfather's a good analogy because Sonny's in charge. That doesn't go well immediately. And then the actual...
Bib Fortuna didn't even replace the Rancor. He was literally just sitting on that throne.
Yeah.
Doing jack all. eating Jabba's snacks. That's pretty much about it.
But I do love
he
the idea.
Replaced it with Peter Pettigrew. That's who was counting that.
I do love the idea of like, Jabba dies and then, the whole like badass idea of Jabba dies, Boba Fett gets killed in the process, and then just digs himself out of the sand and walks immediately to the castle, or not immediately, I guess he goes and gets his suit and everything, but just the idea that,
While
He's
we are
coming
in
for
this, the present part of the storytelling in this episode, I want to bring up these two iconic people right here.
Amazing. Twins?
Twins, Basil. And ask Adam the all-important question.
What's up with that? What's up? Ooh-wee.
What do you know? And I gotta start doing the right. I see Adam with face. I'm like, that's the right image, right? Click.
I was gonna make a different overlay and soundbite that said who and or what the fuck is that?
What the fuck?
And what are all these characters and things and machines and places and all this stuff? But I didn't know. I mean, I don't know. I guess in the Clone Wars movie, we see his cousin, his brother. I can't
Something
remember what the other.
Oh, right. Cousin is his cousin is the one that
it
kidnaps Rada.
Okay, yeah.
What is his cousin's name?
I just remember Stinky, and I remember the one
Clyde.
that set him up. That was
Something.
that was the impetus of everything. So I guess there's. I didn't know that there's a whole Hutt planet. There's a whole I thought Jabba was the Hutt, and obviously he has family. There's other members of his species, but I didn't know there was like what this wide ranging this, because when Boba mentions to the other who the fuck was that the Wookiee, like these aren't the fighting pits of whatever he said. Like I was looking up the planet and stuff and doing some research, and I was like, I don't. There's a whole.
Nal Hutta?
There's a whole world. I have no clue.
Yeah,
about.
Nal Hutta or Nar Hutta. Yeah, Zero was Jabba's uncle. Zero the
Right.
Hutt.
Zero.
Yeah, I think they all come from a planet called Nar Hutta or Nal Hutta, and that's what's funny is we never think of these things as species. We just think of these creatures. I remember seeing a Greedo in Return of the Jedi, and going, I thought Greedo was dead, and then I'd realize like, oh, it's a species, like there can be lots of these. Yeah, and that's the thing with all the Star Wars. You only see these characters like once, or maybe you see them in a group like Ewoks or whatever.
Yeah.
Or my
Nal
thought
Hutta.
process watching the first episode, I went, look, a pink Greedo.
Yeah, it's a pink Greedo. Exactly. They're all Greedos. They're all Bosks.
Can we give it up for the guys carrying the Hutts on a litter? And they're strained.
To have
Like-
the payoff to the joke of "Didn't you come on a litter?" When someone finally comes on a litter, it is the heavy. It's two of them. One of them would already bow that that litter, but that's just such a great payoff to the. Oh, I didn't hear your litter come in, or I didn't see your litter outside, or whatever. That the people who do come in on a litter are the Hutts, and there's two of them, the twins. The twins. It's
All I can
amazing.
think about is all the guys holding the litter going like, can we wrap this conversation up? Like, our shoulders have places to
Oh
be.
God, that's such a great joke. Such a great joke.
Well,
Yeah.
and to speak to the differences in all the species, like the Twi'leks,
Oh yeah.
like they're so different colors. So I can only imagine, much like humans, like we have different ethnicities and whatnot.
Right.
So that similar, I'm sure, aspect to their culture and their planet.
Now, is it just me, or do
Or was that one ripped?
yeah?
Is that Twi'lek ripped?
Yes.
But when looking at them, I was thinking like they're what do you call them? Would you call them a tendril?
Tendrils. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
forgot the
Tendril
name
sounds
of it.
good.
Yeah. They look better than they did in episode 6 of Mandalorian, I think, when we had the two that were cons. They were saving one, and then there was
Different species.
Yeah. So it looks less like styrofoam.
No. But you notice, I believe the Twi'lek. There's a difference between Twi'leks and whatever.
Ahsoka.
Ahsoka, right? Wasn't the one that was in the episode with Bill Burr where they take over the great episode of Mandalorian?
Yeah.
Where they take over that prison.
Horror movie.
Yeah, totally. Wasn't she a different? There's Rudian Twi'leks.
Hobbit's got me right here. Yeah, they're Leku.
They're
That
Leku.
is one-
There are Rudian Twi'leks, and there's another type of Twi'leks, and I think. So I don't know. But anyway, that's all I got. They're Leku. Thank you, Hobbit Andy.
Sounds great.
we would be remiss and absolutely fired from covering Boba Fett if we didn't bring up this individual who Sean and I both had no idea who it was, and then the internet screamed at us in unison.
Oh yeah, same here. I didn't know who that was, and how awesome does he look? Oh my god! And nobody saw that coming.
What's up with that?
Yeah, I was like, oh, what a badass Wookiee. That's cool. And then I go online, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, it's blah, 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 blah. The black Kirsten Dunst? I don't know how to say
The
it.
black Kirsten Dunst.
The black
Kristen Dand or something.
Yeah.
Santed. I don't remember.
Black
the name.
chrysanthemum.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
here's the thing that kills me is a lot of people are like, oh, well, he shows up in Darth Vader comic volume 1. I was like, I actually did read that, though. Like, I own the first 3 volumes of Darth Vader and read them. And I was like, I don't remember this. The only thing I remember in that comic is Jabba mistakenly thinks that he can threaten Darth Vader. And so there's a great panel of Vader force choking Jabba. And I was like, I love this. This is fantastic. But unfortunately, I sold those comics, so I can't just like bring them up like a hipster and be like, I sold this before it was cool.
And we are finding out new kinks for Allison. Thank you for sharing. We appreciate you.
And we will bring up a little later a whole show that we're going to have that's all about Allison Salamoni's Star Wars kinks. I believe that's what she said. It's all around.
All of her geek kinks. That's exactly what.
Geeky Kinks. That is the second episode. It's going to be the Geeky Kinks special.
Geeky Kinks. Now that was the name of the train driver, I believed. If you're asking for who's what in these shows,
tell me that doesn't sound like a Star Wars name.
Geeky Kinks.
Geeky Kinks. That's the Geeky Kinks.
I think the droid name is GKKNKS or something, but yeah, it's, Geeky Kinks is his nickname.
You know, I think one of the most wonderful things about having Adam on this show is he could make up everything and we wouldn't know the difference.
Yes, I'm writing this down. Give me
Geeky Kinks.
Geeky Kinks. You said G 3 N's. 3 N's, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna get all of our inner geekdom Star Wars
like
questions
Gonk, but with 2 N's. Yeah. Or 2 Ks.
I'm entering the Star Wars division.
Okay. Overall, going back to overall kind of thoughts and feelings about the episode. I like
just when you think the episode couldn't have more, it has a Wookiee in it. Nobody saw that coming.
Well, there was kind of a Wookiee in the first one.
Wookiee pelt.
Wookiee pelt.
Well, when I was rewatching with my wife, she's like, "That kind of looks like." I said, "It is," and she's like, "It absolutely is." It's Chewbacca specifically.
I'm excited to find out more about him, though. There's no way they're just going to introduce this guy.
No, he's coming back,
and then he's just that's it. Because obviously, I think the Hutts are obviously going to be kind of like the foil. Like there's going to be a power vacuum struggle now between.
Oh yeah,
Boba's trying to assert himself and what they want, what they claim is their rightful,
And when the idea of this show is coming up, it's going through my head of like, oh, okay, so what are all the gangs? Like, who's going to try and take power on Tatooine? There's the Hutts. There's the Crimson Dawn. There is the
the Order of the Wind.
Night Wind.
Assassins.
That's very close.
Yeah, whatever they're called.
Night Wind Assassins. Is that a gang? Is that
that were the Assassins?
mob?
I don't know. This is the first I've ever heard of them, so I have no clue.
But the other one is the people driving the train. The train was the
Pikes. Yeah,
the Pikes. Now that's
the spicy
a gang.
people.
Yeah,
I call them spicy people because I didn't know what they were called.
So that's a gang. So he is now absolutely royally pissed off that gang who is going to want to take power on Tatooine. And obviously, and I had no idea the Pikes even had any control on Tatooine. Oh, look at this. Wow. I got to read these comic books. These look so exciting. I can't believe I've never read any of the comic books.
It's all canonical now of the Marvel stuff.
How cool is that? Oh my gosh. But nobody saw a Wookiee coming in. Nobody saw a Hutts coming in. It was so exciting.
We also have the Justice League fans, the Snyder Cut Bros.
Right, I can't believe these Snyder Cut guys did that to them.
They're all over the place. What Twitter?
These guys were just sitting in their hut watching No Way Home, and the Snyder Cut Bros came in here, wrecked shop, and tagged their walls.
Question, Adam: do you think that this guy is definitely actually this guy?
Ooh.
It's actually Griff from Back to the Future 2.
It's the Star Wars Griff. Griff is a great name for a Klatooinian.
Right. Is that what they're called? A Klatooinian?
I believe that's a Klatooinian.
Gussenheit.
I should start making up more things.
You should. I will believe you. A Gazoon type. That's what they're called.
A Klatooinian. There were Klatus that took over the bar, and I love this as a genre thing too. There's such a classic genre thing. If you've watched Mad Max, and also I would reference the movie Billy Jack from back in the day of a biker gang that takes over a little town, and one guy has to come in and kick their asses. Billy Jack or or
Wild Hogs.
or the Wild Hogs. But I love that like Boba Fett came in and kicked this gang. They were doing all the classic gang stuff like, hey, we run this place. Pour me a drink, set this on fire, torture these people. That was so cool.
Because people were complaining about like slower combat in the first episodes, like, oh, Boba Fett's slowing down. I was like, well, here's this for you. Like he woke up.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got, angry
and
Clint Eastwood.
Unbeknownst to probably himself, he goes in there and saves Luke's best friends. The people, the couple sitting at the table, who are getting there just
Which,
absolutely
of course,
destroyed.
Upon first watch, we obviously knew that, right?
Yes, of course. I definitely didn't have to wait for the internet to tell me that.
I wish they would have. I wish they would have said something to make that more clear, because that's. I love that, but I did have to learn that from the internet.
Mm-hmm.
I love watching Star Wars content and like watching reviews and stuff for it, because like when it comes to Marvel, I feel like I'm for the most part on the up and up. When I like see a lot of things like that's from that. Star Wars, I love it, I enjoy it, I watch all of it, but whenever I watch a review, it's just like an hour straight of me learning things. Like I didn't know any of this.
And the thing is, people say, "Oh, do I need to have a dictionary next to me or the internet next to me to watch this show?" It's like you don't, because you could say if they released with all this mythology, all the Star Wars, if they released episode 4 right now, the very first one. You would watch that and go, oh, am I supposed to know what a Jawa is? No, in 1977, you weren't. You didn't have to know what a Jawa was. You didn't have to know what a Sandpaper. The idea is this universe washes over you. I didn't know who Black Chrysanthemum is, but I'm just like, oh my God, it's a Wookiee, and he's a badass. He's the Boba Fett of Wookiees, is what he is.
Yeah. That's what he looks like.
So what's great is these shows must work exactly the same way. I'm a bit of an insider, but I missed, was it Wendy and Cammy? Cammy and Fixer. Were the two people in the who deep cut are deleted scenes from the original movie, but also were in the Star Wars radio show, which I listened to as a kid, which was really fun. If you look that up, the Star Wars NPR radio dramas, because they are based on the original draft of the script and not the final movies one.
When are we going to get a bar on like Mos Eisley or Mos Espa or something that's just called McClunky's? That's
McClunky's.
Yes.
Well, that was the name of the place they kept going to, right?
I think so. Yeah, that's probably where they're being held up.
That's the shenanigans of Tatooine.
Not enough flair. I could watch Boba Fett and Fennec Shand part the curtains to a bar over and over. The fact that they keep going back to a cantina is just so wonderful.
And how great does Jennifer Beals look?
Yeah.
I saw the credits and I go, which one was Jennifer Beals? And I backed it up and I'm like, that? She looks exactly like she did in 1981, like the first time I saw her in 82. I'm like, she hasn't aged like maybe 2 years since Flashdance.
Yeah, her and Ming-Na Wen. They're just
yeah, Ming-Na Wen too.
Eating baby's blood. I don't know.
Yeah, because what was it? 2000 was Crouching Tiger?
Something like that. Is it the late 90s or 2000?
She does not look 22 years older than that. That's for sure.
No, absolutely not. And like, she looks the same as Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That was not long ago, but no, she just does not.
Great casting.
Okay, so shortly after we meet the Wookiee and the Jabbas, we go back to some of our favorite time, which is the flashbacks with the Tuskens, and now the relationship has evolved with Boba and with the Tuskens, and we see that he's kind of staying there seemingly a little of his own will.
We didn't even bring him up, sorry.
Oh, yeah, Max Rebo.
Oh, God, big oversight. Yes, Max Rebo, baby. Is that the real Max Rebo? That's got to be the real Max Rebo.
Yeah, he's just hanging around.
There's not two of those guys that play that instrument. Yeah.
And the present time in this one, they weren't jumping back and forth so much, but the present time was so short that the whole adventure,
it was pretty much you get like 10 minutes and then it's flashback the rest of the show.
Yeah, the whole adventure for this show was in the past, so that was cool to see.
Yeah.
Right. And
yeah, it was cool to see.
So we kind of kicked that off with is one of the first things that comes to mind, at least, is the train that's on the spice route flying down the desert and just mowing down a bunch of the Tuskens and the poor damn Banthas getting wiped out twice. Like, can we get some armor on the Banthas?
There's some Bantha fur in the bottom left-hand corner. Can I ask, how many flat plateau type levels is there for this train to be driving that fast and actually make its way around the desert? Is it plowing over fields? Is it going up and down dunes? Because I can imagine that there's not that much of a straightaway.
There's got to be plenty of flatland on Tatooine. I can't imagine that it's mostly hills.
Well,
I
it's
just
called
imagined
Tatooine,
it
not
all.
Flat-Tatooine.
Oh, is Ming Na Wen not in Crouching Tiger? I'm thinking of Michelle Yeoh, R-Type. But she was in a
Who
martial
also
arts
doesn't
movie that I
age.
know, right?
She's in so many.
Yeah.
I think.
Ming Na Wen.
I have no
was in
idea.
some
I
martial
saw
arts
her
movie.
in the Joy Luck Club, which I think was in the 90s. I don't know when. I saw it in high school when we read the book.
Yeah.
She was in Mulan, looking pretty animated.
Yeah.
Yeah, young in that
that's
one. Moving on. So yeah, we get the train, we get the shootout, and then we get very a la like Return of the Jedi, the burning of the bodies, very Star Wars.
Right.
Nice to
Yeah, all
see
the
that.
dead sand people.
Yep, and Disney era Star Wars, they're not afraid to burn some corpses. And then Boba goes up to the lead Tusken, which I believe is where is it?
Ooh, has he got a name?
This
Does he?
guy.
Oh
he have
yes,
a
he
name?
does have a name, and he is called.
What's up with that? What's up with that?
Yeah, and he says, "I will grab rifle."
But he goes by Charles.
Yeah,
That's what
pronunciation was top notch on that.
Yeah.
He goes to the biker club with Griff here, and with a rifle and stick, and takes care of business, and not only grabs one speeder bike, but just a plethora of speeder bikes back to the Tuskens, and that is where my favorite segment of
Oh yeah.
the
I
episode.
mean, how cool is this?
Well, this whole scene was definitely like Terminator, right? He walks in, he wrecks shop, he steals their stuff, and he leaves and takes their bikes with him. Yeah, I was waiting for Bad Buds to kick on the radio for sure.
Yeah. There's a little, like I said, there's a little Mad Max in there too, like a biker gang taking over. But that kind of goes back to cowboy stuff too. There's always the guys coming in all drunk and everything like that. You know, John Wayne's got to kick in the door and go, "All right, everybody out, or I'm
Yeah.
going to throw you out." Yeah.
Get out of here, Pilgrim. It was the training montage of teaching them to ride the speeder bikes like
Da-da-da.
forward, back. And
Da-da-da.
I've always wanted to ride Star Wars vehicles, but I think watching Boba teach the Tuskens to ride the speeders was the moment for me where I was like, man, this needs to exist. I really want to get on one of these things and just go 60 miles per hour on some flat sand dunes, and try to jump onto another one. It's just,
The speeders from here and the light cycles from Tron. We just need we need to be on those rides.
I like this. Which would win? Who would win? Which would be better for taking over a train, actually?
and is it really a Western without a train heist?
I love it.
Right?
I love
We
all
got-
the Western references. It's so great.
We got a fun one in Solo. We got this one was a lot of fun, and I love the main warrior Tusken that is with him, and I kept thinking he was going to die because it kind of seemed like The Last Samurai or something like this. Where
Oh,
the one
right.
coaching him and accepting him and all these things, and begrudgingly getting to like Boba was going to be the one to bite it. I'm so glad he didn't. But when he hopped down in the train and just started like throwing pikes left and right and kicking everyone's ass, I was having a real good time.
What makes you say he?
Well, funny you should mention that because it just popped up on Facebook that it is a female stunt double portraying that character. Yeah.
Yeah, she's done like Captain Marvel, Wonder Woman stuff, like a bunch of different stunt work, and she was the martial artist in the suit, kicking ass, like doing fantastic work.
For the Tusken Raider?
Yeah. For the raider that was teaching him the whole Goffy stick movements and everything.
Oh,
like that.
right,
And
right. That's cool.
With that,
Yeah.
I don't know. Obviously, we don't know their names, but yeah.
Speaking of which, caught a fun. Yeah, exactly. Everybody like a bantha.
It was for some reason it was Tamora's like gleeful little like grin. He's like a bantha.
All right, I got to show you something here. Unfortunately, it's only on my phone. The part of the movie. Oh, sorry, I meant to turn the light off here. All right, so hey, turn off. Okay. So there's an easier way to do this. Okay, but anyway, this. And let me change the focus here, so I can hold on.
It's okay.
hold on.
We never stay too focused on the show.
All right, there we go. Yeah, exactly. All right, let me change it to autofocus here. Okay, so if we can see that. All right. What the hell? Come on. I'm trying to do an example here. Anyway, there's the. Would you just focus in? Hold on. I'm going to focus this thing in here.
Sweet spot.
Oh,
Nope.
yeah,
There you go. There he goes. Right there.
Okay.
Right there.
All right.
Right
So
there.
see that shot right there?
Yep.
That is the person that makes his final stick. All right. If this works here, I'm going to show you the Ralph McQuarrie painting.
Yep.
From 1976. I don't know if you guys caught that, but it's the exact same.
Yeah.
It's hard to see, but that thing in the background there, it's exact reference to
exact
Robert Morris
panel.
painting.
That's
I
awesome.
love how much of the old like paintings and stuff are coming back with like Cray Dragon stuff and
Yeah. Well, and what's cool is Star Wars made so many things that had never been done before, like the idea of Ralph McQuarrie's paintings, the concept art becoming its own thing for fans to enjoy, and they put it in a book and all these Ralph McQuarrie paintings. That's why I know that painting. When I saw that shot, I go, oh, I know that. But the fact that has now become so iconic that they do concept art for these shows so that they can turn them into the credits. Like it's so Star Wars. It's so good.
A lot of people like to jump through the end credits. Oh, is there a post-credit scene or something? No, I love watching all the paintings and seeing it where it went from page to screen too.
It's a great
kinda
environment
interesting. There's always just slight differences.
I think what I love about these Star Wars shows is they set you up with a great talking environment. Because I feel like every time I watch an episode of Mandalorian or Boba Fett, I turn the volume down a little bit, let it play out though while we're discussing the episode. And I think that's fun because you get to look at that and go, oh, wow, that's so cool. Or look at that.
And you also get the music and everything too over that. It's a nice little.
I got to say, that Boba Fett theme,
Mm-hmm.
doing it for me.
So Ludwig Göransson did the theme, and he's getting credit for the themes, but I guess it's a different composer for the show.
Yeah,
as a
somebody else
whole.
I don't know. Joe Shirley, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah.
I think that's the name I heard. Yeah.
Wow.
But
I already know
Ludwig
that
is killing it on the theme. Now, so we talked about kind of some of our. Well, actually, let's talk
The
about
mayor. We haven't talked about the mayor. That's
Yeah.
that's
I
cool.
think-
And the idea that this town has a mayor, like, of course it does. It's so cool that like Star Wars is revealing stuff in a area that I thought I knew.
Voiced by Robert Rodriguez.
Oh,
Mhm.
really?
Yeah, the mayor was voiced by Robert Rodriguez,
Oh,
and I love that.
right.
Mhm.
Things are being translated, so you get a certain tone through the translator, but you
Yeah.
can feel this underlying like sinister nature, and like he's definitely trying to play Boba. And
Yeah.
I love the mayor. It is very Godfather. It is very
Yeah.
Mafia.
And the thing is, they haven't played that Godfather card fully yet. But those moments in the Godfather or a mob movie where you realize, like, you have to be careful how you approach this situation. You have to be careful how you talk to this. And you see the maestros do it, like in Goodfellas or whatever. Like the way De Niro talks to this guy and talks to that guy, like you could tell the people who are the masters of that sort of thing. And everybody is kind of talking around the subject with Boba Fett at this point. Everyone's trying to feel everyone out. And that's just going to keep happening until everything collapses. Like this, who knows who the mayor's in league with? Who knows who the Pikes are in league with? Like, Boba is in over his head. But that's where we want to see Boba Fett, because we've always seen him figure everything out through force. But now he's got to figure everything out through his smarts as well.
I almost said something, but I want to save it for the predictions. I do want to ask how we felt about where is it here? I saw it. Ah, yes, the peyote lizard.
Nose lizard.
I love how he apologized. He goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. I think I swallowed him."
We've
No,
heard of
he
licking
attacked your
toads,
face.
but now they're snorting lizards.
Yes. And then
Um,
when he comes back, he just jumps right back into the little pod.
Yeah.
Right.
He jumps right out of his nose. Like he's trained.
Well, that's
I think this kind of lends more to the indigenous kind of spiritual aspects of the Tuskens that I really like. That he goes on a spirit journey, essentially, and finds out
classic.
what he needs to know. And it's not anything I expected. I think when it started happening, I was a little taken aback. But when he comes back with the stick, and you know exactly what that stick's about to be, I was like, let's go. This is awesome. I'm super excited to see this.
Yeah, it's like Young Guns. They all have to go on the peyote journey, right? With the
It's why can't I think of it right now? The Johnny Depp movie.
A Lone
Remember-
Ranger.
No,
Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest.
my body or my brain.
Whoa.
keeps saying
Astronaut's Wife.
Fast Times. No, the trippy one.
Fear and Loathing.
Thank you. Yeah. Anyways, that was not worth it.
I was just enjoying
Name a
naming the
Johnny
other
Depp
ones.
movie. From Hell. I don't know.
Transcendence.
How many IG movies? Okay.
Penny and Jim.
Crimes of Grindelwald. This is not helping.
Well, they use this. I mean, I don't know about often. It might be the wrong word, but like they use this in Star Wars. Like Luke had his journey in the caves.
Yeah.
Rey also had her own journey.
Well, that's true. It
in
does
those
connect in
caves.
that way too.
And so they like to use this. You know, the storytellers, the story group, I guess, like to use this kind of like motif of, you know, psychological journeys to find your true self, to find what's inside. And it's interesting. It works well.
But the way they nativized the Tusken Raiders and turned them into this, I mean, they even say that
They're native
basically
to the planet.
they're native to the planet. Everybody else is an intruder. Like
Yeah.
that was a huge twist that the Tusken. I mean, because we never thought of the Tusken Raiders as anything but monsters up until now. You know, and that's just really cool. And then the fact that they really nativized them further with traditions and building the weapon and all
Different
these other
tribes.
things.
The
Different
episode called
tribes.
Tribes of Tatooine, and they
Yes.
also
right.
their history goes back as far as they talk about
Before the oceans dried up.
water, the oceans dried up on the planet.
Wow. There was
And-
oceans on Tatooine. Isn't that amazing?
crazy.
So I love all that. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, when you think about it, the whole place looks like it used to be beachfront property. If there, you know, I mean, everything's sand, you know.
it's even more confirmation that Tatooine is Arrakis. Because that was the same story as Arrakis too. As Arrakis
Yes.
used to have all this water and then it dried up and now it's just dune. But it was so satisfying to see him create his own. This is the gaffy stick. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Gadurfi stick, depending upon which part of the nation you're from.
Get his black robes and basically become a Tusken himself. He's
Completely reborn.
Tusken Fett.
Completely reborn.
And I'm really excited to see. I'm cool with the flashbacks. I would like to get maybe a break from the Tusken Raiders and see where his journey takes him next. Because as far as we know, there's about 5 years between right now and the past and when he gets suit again. So I want to know where he goes, because when we first see him in Mandalorian, it's on when we first see his boots walk up to Fennec Shand, it's Tatooine again.
Yeah.
So is he really just stuck on Tatooine for this 5 years? Because are we going to get 5 years of Boba Fett on Tatooine and then an Obi-Wan show where he spent like 15 years on Tatooine? Like, I want movement.
Well, when we see him, I mean, we have to see. Well, I don't know, Adam, you'll know better. Where is his ship currently docked?
We don't know.
In the
It
past,
should be near
somewhere
Jabba's.
most. That's
It wouldn't
right?
it have been at Jabba's palace? Yeah, he would have
would
had
think
to have
so,
landed
right?
it there,
There's
you'd
a
think.
Spaceport of some kind inside.
So maybe
the-
there's no
the town.
story to how he gets that back. Although
maybe when he leaves the Tuskens, he's like, I'm just going to walk back to Jabba's.
Just my ship's there. My ship. That's my.
see
my car.
that can't be it though. I mean, how long was he in the sand? That's enough time for Jawas to dismantle it or someone else to steal it. I mean,
They didn't waste any time. They took his armor before he even woke up.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, and so maybe he has to figure out that his armor ended up, that he lost his armor. You okay there?
I had a fan fall on the ground.
I thought your cat was trying to destroy your whole set.
Well, I wanted to blame it on the cat, but he's not even in the room right now. So that's kind of like getting close to wrapping up the episode.
So yeah, I mean, does he have to figure out how his Cobb Vanth, is that his name, Cobb Vanth?
Yeah, that's absolutely correct.
So he has to figure out that his armor ended up. So that guy has to. I mean, very well in the next episode, we could see Cobb Vanth buying that from the Jawas or stealing from the Jawas or something more interesting than that because it is Star
I need
Wars.
Timothy Oliphant back. I'd love to see him in modern day.
It's a pretty good
Have him
chance.
show up and be like, I like that armor.
I mean,
Do we
yeah.
think? Because I think who Timothy Oliphant, who Cobb Vanth was defending that town from,
Right.
was Tusken Raiders. So is it the same Tusken Raiders? Were they Was
Well,
it
the
a
Tusken
raid?
Raiders, but then they had a
but-
piece with the Crate Dragon, and then they teamed up with the Tusken Raiders there.
I don't remember. I saw the episode twice when it first launched, so I don't remember. But like, was that a raid because of Boba trying to get his armor back? You know what I mean? Like, or something. I don't know.
But I mean, he
They're
became
wearing
the
different cloth and stuff. This is, and they talk about the tribes. I said some tribes
Oh yeah,
lead with like violence and killing, and these guys are wearing mostly black and darker colors, and not the
Right,
typical
different-
tan that we see. So yeah, they're definitely a different tribe.
Oh, that's
Much
true.
like
And the
you
ones that attacked everybody else and took Shmi and stuff as the beige, the all beige and
get
brown.
used to
So
seeing.
yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
That makes me wonder: is there different tribes
No.
of Jawas? Are Jawas just all dicks?
Mike, I don't understand your question. When the huts become public domain, was this a joke I missed? My kid was
Well, he's referencing the fact that Winnie the Pooh just became public domain.
Oh,
Do you know this? So that now
No.
you can make a porno based on that and not get sued.
Guys, I
Disney.
have to ask you: do you want to, or do you have some predictions for Chapter 3, the next episode?
I have a feeling Cobb Vanth is coming up, right?
Yeah.
He's going to have to make an appearance here.
Is there any credibility to all those Han Solo rumors that are going around? Because they're coming from like every angle.
I doubt it. I doubt
No.
there's
Yeah.
any credibility to that. It sounds like something we want more than something that could happen. But then again, we're watching a TV show called Book of Boba Fett, and good Lord, I could want nothing more in my lifetime, I don't think.
2 years ago, would you have seen Luke Skywalker in Mandalorian?
Hell no.
no.
Hell no.
Honestly, Han's not who I want to see. Even out of the Solo verse, I want Kira. And I really
Yeah.
thought, like, to see Kira, I would love for her to take over the Crimson Dawn after the
Right.
past of Darth Maul. Like, we don't know what she's doing.
At this point, who would have been running Crimson Dawn?
Right. Well, because this
It would
is
be
Maul's
Kira?
dead.
this is 15
Well-
years later.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see.
About
Gosh.
20,
yeah.
20 years after the
Because
movie
Solo's
Solo.
about 5 or 6 years before New Hope.
Oh,
Right.
gosh. So
And then there was a 10-year jump in between there, right?
Because Maul,
Is that
Maul's still alive.
in the movies? 10 years?
During Solo, Maul's still alive. But by Return of the Jedi, Maul's dead. Via
Okay.
Obi-Wan.
right.
Yep.
So someone else entirely is running Crimson Dawn, and that's probably who we're going to see because they're not going to drop the opportunity to have Crimson Dawn try and take over the Hutt territory. Like
Yeah, that
we've
makes
already
sense.
seen the other gangs. Like the other major gang that we haven't seen yet, besides the Hutts and the Pikes, is the Crimson Dawn. And there's another gang that's been mentioned before, but I
Black
don't think
Sun or
it's ever,
something?
Yeah, Black Sun, but I don't think we've ever seen them. Well, I guess in the books, right? Black Sun. But I don't think in any kind of modern thing have we seen Black Sun. I don't think so. I don't think it's been in Rebels or anything like that. So the only one we really know that's been played in the series is Crimson Dawn. However, there are 2 other gangs, I believe, that control all of space. I think I've read that. There's like 5 major gangs, right?
Okay.
Hutts, Pikes, Crimson Dawn. I believe you're right with Black Sun. And then there's one other one, I believe. So either of those 2, which have no mythology to adapt or whatever.
And Hobbit saying in the comics, they
Comics.
just revived Crimson Dawn in between Empire and Jedi. So that is post-Maul death.
That is post-Maul death.
Yeah.
Well, post-Maul death, but pre-Kira.
No,
Okay,
post-Kira. Because
Googled
Kira is part of Crimson Dawn already before New Hope.
Right, but she takes over at the end of Solo.
Crimson Dawn, Black Sun, the Crymora Syndicate, the Hutt Clan, and the Pikes. Pikes
Oh,
Syndicate.
Crymora Syndicate. Okay, so there's someone that has never been designed, has never shown up, it's just been referred to. Maybe it's in the books. But so these other 2 gangs could easily, if they want to get a gang war going by the end of episode 9 or however many they're going to do here, he's already pissed off the Pikes. He's already has an uneasy allegiance with the Hutts. We have no idea whose allegiance the mayor of Mos Espa is beholden to.
Right.
He's obviously a slimeball who's going to sort of, whoever's ascended in power, he's going to ally himself with. So could Black Sun, Crimson Dawn, or any of these others show up?
And he shifted blame very quickly. He's like, "Hey, I didn't send them. Who do you think? Go check go check over here. You'll
Yeah,
find
but
an
he
answer.
before that assassin could get a word out, he shot him, and I was like,
Yeah.
you're full of
Amazing.
it. You're full of it. Question for
and then,
you guys.
And then paid him off immediately. Hey, thanks for here's your bounty for bringing him in.
Yeah.
Twofold. So we have 5 episodes left of this show, 7 episodes total. Chances of Cad Bane over or under 70%. Cad Bane is very closely associated.
Maybe I can ask Adam. What I've seen Cad Bane. I've seen pictures. I don't know much about him at all. I know he was in the Clone Wars show, right? So what is he floating around doing?
I believe that dent in the helmet is from Cad Bane. Am I wrong?
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember that from. I've only seen most of the Clone Wars just once, and many of those are now a few years ago that I saw those. So I don't know. But Cad Bane's a great character. He's a bounty hunter. He's a 2-gun slinging guy. He's got the full Billy Jack hat. I guess I keep referring to Billy Jack here, showing my age. But he's definitely like a much more of a cowboy reference. I think he literally wears spurs and stuff. And he's a pretty cool. He's what kind of species is he? Can't think of the name of it right now, but he's in the species is in the cantina. Yes, he is called a blorth.
Oh, okay.
I believe I've heard that before.
Hold on, let me tweet that out.
I did just do a quick it's a blorf.
Yeah, write that down in case you're ever asked. But it would be something that hasn't happened yet that everybody predicted was other bounty hunters, because we've never caught up with Bosk, we've never caught up with Dengar, we caught up with IG-11, which is not IG-88 exactly, but and we've seen a Forlom type robot, but we haven't seen the proper Forlom or Zuckuss, and as far as we know, they're all alive. So I wonder if I would love to see all of the bounty hunters show up, and that's obviously a big exciting thing for fans too, because they wrote a whole book called the Bounty Hunter Wars. Duro,
how cool would that be if like the Hutts or like all the other crime syndicates or whatever are hiring all these bounty hunters, and we basically get John Wick with Boba Fett, like John Wick Chapter 3, where all the bounty hunters were after him, and then who comes to Boba Fett's aid? The Tuskens.
Oh well, we know that's where we know that's going to happen. Yeah, that's so great. She did Google it, Duros.
Narrator. She did Google it.
She did. Duros is the species, but So I mean, if they're bringing back,
I'm going to stick with Blurf.
Yeah, if they're bringing back any bounty hunter, I mean, it could be Cad Bane. It could be. I really would love to see a bounty hunter or two. And knowing that this show has already given me so much that I already love, I have a feeling like all of them are showing up. It's just bounty hunters like crazy.
Do we think that the Black Chrysanthemum Wookiee is just a heavy, basically? He's just a warrior, a gladiator, working for the Hutts, obviously, or hired by them.
Yeah, I mean, Jabba had Boba Fett. The twins have Black Chrysanthemum.
Does BK make it out of this series?
I think so.
So it's hard. I don't think we can see it in this image. Oh. No, we can't. Yeah, it looks so good. But in the comics, before this point in time, he actually has a big scar over his left eye.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Is that visible in this image?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. That scar is from a conflict with Obi-Wan. He was sent to take out Obi-Wan, and he did not win that battle.
Oh.
Do we know the time frame on that? Well, obviously, it would have been much.
That comic takes place between Empire and Jedi, right?
Yeah.
So they just decided not to give him the scar.
I love this.
What makes
look at that
the question is, do we see him in the Obi-Wan show as well?
Wow.
Oh,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I would like to see that. I'm very curious of what we are and are not going to see in the Obi-Wan show.
So we're hoping for more gangs, more bounty hunters, less Tusken Raiders until
flashbacks, some Slave One, more ass kickery. I think, more bounty hunting. I think that's
do we because the talk about Solo. Do we think Boba is the vengeful type? Is he going to go after Han? Is he going to go after
for bumping
Luke?
into him? I don't know.
Well, I mean, Han was bumbling around, but like, does he want revenge for those You know, because the whole thing was because they were trying to kill Luke and throw him in, trying to kill Han and throw him in, etc.
Well, he didn't kill all the Jawas for stealing his armor. He didn't just go on a killing spree yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a different.
He hasn't gone full Anakin yet.
He's been reborn.
Hunted them down.
I think it was really an interesting perspective to be shown that as much as a villain that we've thought as that Boba Fett is in the past, he's less of a dick to Tuskens than Anakin.
I was gonna make a joke earlier, Adam. You said everyone loves Tuskens. We all love seeing them. I was like, not Anakin. No, he
had other
hates
problems.
this show.
Well, the thing about the sand people is they'll put some dirt in your eye. All right,
The sand people, they get everywhere. They're coarse and they get everywhere.
rough and irritating. And all that good stuff.
I think if any of the other characters do show up, it'll be because of their own agency and whatever storyline they have going on versus Boba going on a revenge tour. I think he's dealing. I think this is going to stay relatively local. I don't think he's going to travel off planet unless someone's taking him off planet, type of thing. Like he's not going out exploring. I think he's going to stick around Tatooine.
Are we going to get some resolution to? There's got to be, I think, a specific reason that we keep getting flashbacks to the loss or leaving of his father Jango, like some identity crisis type stuff. We've seen him hold his father's head, and we see him like looking out the window longingly as Jango goes off to go do.
How cool was that? A shot on Camino.
Yeah, that was really cool. Also, I feel like what they did with like the water and the sand dunes, I think was like a collaboration or like a put together of like Camino versus where he is now, kind of all crashing together.
Oh, that was genius.
I don't remember who cut off his head. Was that Mace?
Mace Windu.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
That's why everyone's like speculating, like, "Oh, bring back Mace." I'm like, I don't need one-armed, electrified Mace Windu.
By the way, since we are talking about the great photography, that whole trip sequence, it was really amazing. Like you were talking about the sand dunes, the water of Camino crashing into the sand dunes of Tatooine, that sort of stuff.
I love always getting new visuals in Star Wars, like having the ship in Last Jedi when we got like no sound and it was just them hyperspacing into each other. New stuff like that, really.
The whole maneuver.
Oh, right. I know, and it's amazing. Star Wars can always come up with something new, even when dealing with like their old subject. It's just because all the movies, they're always just scratching the surface. I could watch an entire TV show about Janna and her whole Stormtrooper squadron. Like that's a whole story they don't cover. They just like, oh, we defected during this war, and and here we are for this part of the story. But you're like,
and Lando may be my dad.
And Lando could be your dad. Yes, exactly.
And it's a weird vibe at the end of that. I'm not sure if it's dad or daddy. It's real.
But a fun piece of trivia, what does this episode of Book of Boba Fett have in common with Halloween, Escape from New York, The Fog, Big Trouble in Little China, Back to the Future, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Roadhouse, Death Becomes Her, Apollo 13, and Jurassic Park?
Is it the director? Steph Green?
It is not. It is the cinematographer, Dean Cundey. Dean Cundey.
Yeah. I'll see my
Shot
way
this
out.
episode. Legendary cinematographer.
That's awesome.
I heard that name floating around. I'm like, that sounds so familiar.
Right.
On a few other
I know that
reviews
name.
I'd watched. I'm like, I know that name. I was like, oh yeah, Halloween. I didn't know. I only heard Halloween and Back to the Future. I'm like, oh cool. Obviously, other work is involved. I didn't know all of that. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a resume.
Oh,
I need to see more Geeky Kink.
Geeky Kink.
Geeky Kink?
who
Geeky Kink.
is very alive because he just dipped out of the window
right.
and crawled his ass right away. Little spider creature.
Get that hashtag Geeky Kink going.
Geeky Kink.
Actually, no, because I don't want to see where that hashtag goes. I changed.
Allison,
Just go
get on that.
to fucking real.
Allison, please hashtag Geeky Kink.
All right, before we do our send-offs and everything, and also
Man, a train robbery with a motorcycle gang. Man, this episode had everything, and it's just getting going. It's just warming up.
And the training montage of jumping, they were like practicing the jumps, the jumping off onto the train the whole time.
Yeah. I'm gonna put that montage to the Rocky IV. The burning heart. Is that what it was? The burning heart.
Burning desires.
Yeah.
You could say they were going off the rails on a crazy train.
You could and you did.
I did. I already did, so you don't have to. All right, guys. Before we kind of like wrap it up here and we do our sign-offs and where we can find us and everything, is there any last little things you guys want to add? Last little thoughts before we talk about a new show that we have coming up that we're very excited about?
Just that I, much like The Mandalorian, I could watch Boba Fett or The Mandalorian walk down the streets of Mos Espa or Mos Eisley any day. Just a whole show of just walking cool. Like him walking with the two Gamorreans and Fennec Shand, putting his hand over his gun, that whole thing. Yeah, oh God, man. It's just, Boba Fett is the absolute best.
Yep.
God, look at that guy, man. Oh my God. It's so good. So good.
I love it. I love that we've gotten some actual like context for Gamorrean guards, and they're not just there to die; like they're there to kick ass and take names.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Oh,
I appreciate
great.
that we're getting that for all the original series creatures that were just cannon fodder, and now they have something to them.
I love
By the
it.
way, can I say dad bod goals? Because they got abs.
Yeah, they do.
They got a big belly, but they got abs. So I'm for it. I'm trying to get abs.
I love that they went with the practically naked Gamorrean guards. These guys are, these guys are hunks. Don't make them angry.
Dad bod goals. I love it. Appreciate it. I've been really enjoying the show. I'm looking forward to episode 3. I think this is evidence that be patient when you have your episode. I think a lot of people are used to binging stuff. And
Right.
so it feels like this with every Disney Plus show. Everyone complained about the first 2 episodes of WandaVision. They complained about the first 2 episodes of Falcon and Winter Soldier, Hawkeye. It's just like every time one of these shows come out, everyone's complaining about the first couple episodes. I'm like, chill.
Yeah, they should find all the people that complain about that and wait 6 weeks to announce that the show is coming out. And then so that when they finally go to Disney Plus, they go, oh, I can binge it. Like the difference between a show that you watch week to week and a show that you can binge is not starting for 6 weeks or 9 weeks, whatever.
Okay, think about all of the we are way too inundated with movie news in the sense of behind the scenes going ons of productions, right?
Yeah.
So before name a movie, before No Way Home come out, it's like, oh, there's an assembly cut of 4 hours. Release the assembly cut. Like, no, we don't want a 4-hour movie. This is the whole assembly cut. This is a 2.5-hour movie spread out into 6 to 7 40-minute episodes. You're seeing all of the deleted scenes crammed back in, done up, and you're seeing the entire story expand. So don't jump on the first episode. You're seeing the first 20 minutes of the movie. You know what I mean? It's expanded out. So,
yeah, just wait till they're all out and then start watching. I mean, if that bugs you so much,
yeah.
I mean, it's because it's equivalent of watching the first half hour of Star Wars and going, I don't get it. It's a bunch of robots in the desert. It's like, watch the whole movie. There's a trench chase coming up. There's a Death Star.
A show like Hawkeye that we just finished might have been better as a binge instead of a week to week. You know what I mean? But other shows are better as a week to week, like build the mystery, like the WandaVision show, where you're like, what's happening? And
Great
it's building.
mystery.
It's the water cooler talk. Whereas,
Yeah.
and I think that's what I think that's what like Stranger Things has suffered from in the past season was everyone talked about it for a week and a half, 2 weeks, and then it was off the radar and out of the geek sphere. Whereas
keep the talk going.
if that
Witcher
type of
season
show
2?
would have been, I still haven't finished it, but no one is talking about it other than randomly seeing a review, or a watch along pop up on YouTube on someone's channel as they're dropping them daily. Like it's out of the consciousness.
And on the note of like how people feel about this and stuff, I did put a poll up at the beginning saying like, is Book of Boba Fett on the right track? 78% said so far so good, and 22% say it's getting better. We had nobody say meh or quickly losing interest. So I think that this will bring people on, and I think the patience will be rewarded for those of us that weren't instantly negative about said show.
Oh, everybody's on board. There's no way you watch this episode and go, I could take or leave what happens next.
Mm-hmm.
I had one of my friends that was kind of pessimistic about the first episode text me. He's like, hey, chapter 2 is kind of fire. I was like, yes, it is. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Similar to the feeling of snorting a lizard. All right, guys. Well, with that special announcement today, I got permission to talk about it on here really quick and bring it up for you guys. If you didn't already know, we are going to be starting a new show, audio only for right now on an audio podcast, which you can find on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everything that you see in our description below. And that is Behavior Geekology, hosted by one Allison Salamoni.
Okay.
And a brief description here. Behavior Geekology is an audio podcast where Allison uses her career as a behavior analyst and its different principles to break down aspects from some of our favorite films and franchises. She will explain topics like why Dumbledore is the worst and McGonagall is the best professor, what is it about that ring and Gollum, and much more. The first episode will be dropping Tuesday, February 1st, and new episodes will be released every other Tuesday on all audio platforms. Again, check out that description and make sure to follow Allison for more updates at Allison Salamoni on Twitter. And I believe Instagram might be the same as well. I'm not sure, but definitely on the tweets. So keep an eye out for that, or keep an ear out, I should say.
Going to be analyzing the motivations of people and
various different things, like behavioral type things, mindsets, and what that looks like. And I think that's a fun new spin to have on here. Maybe a bit more of a professional one than me and Sean are used to.
I mean,
that's her show. Yeah, Allison works as a clinical director of behavior, like psychology type stuff. I don't understand it.
Should the show be called Behavioral Geekology?
Sean, get on fixing that logo. You gotta fix
but I mean, something like Boba Fett. If you watch your dad get his head cut off, like, what does that do to you? And what does that do to Boba
were
Fett?
Shot. Boba's like, hold my beer or hold my boba tea. All right, well,
William, just a tad, but you can always go back, watch on the replay, and leave a comment on the video, and we will love you forever.
Oh, let's not make him watch the replay. Let's do the whole thing over again. Okay, I'll come in and you start the.
Well, I will say that he did miss our beautiful little soundbite here, so I'll play it once for him.
What's up with that? What's up with that?
You gotta do the Running Man. Jason Sudeikis doing the Running Man is one of my favorites.
Right, it's the best. It's the best.
This one specifically was taken from the episode not that long ago that Oscar Isaac on. It was good times where he got to say like one line. All right, well let's start out.
Board-certified behavior analyst. It's not Anakin's fault. What? My whole life is a lie.
I'm here for that episode.
It does sound interesting.
I can see her hugging Anakin like Robin Williams. It's not your fault.
It's not your fault.
It's not your fault.
It's not your fault.
All right, so let's do a wrap up on where people can find you. I know that we can find Mr. Adam Witt on the Movie Guys, but why don't you tell people what you got going on?
Hey, it's at the Movie Guys on Twitter, and we announce everything we do on there. But we have two main things that we do. themovieguys.net also is where you'd find all the reviews and everything. But the main two pieces of media, every Monday, we do a live show called Monday Movie Nonsense. And this Monday, we're going to have Brad Gilmore on. And because he has a book coming out about James Bond written with Mike Kalinowski, and a dear friend of mine and a comedy partner of mine for years has a 9-year-old daughter that just watched all 25 James Bond movies in a month, and she's obsessed with James Bond. And so we're going to bring her on with Brad Gilmore and talk about James Bond with a 9-year-old. So that's going to be super fun. That's Mondays at 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern time. And then look up the Ford Fiesta podcast from the Movie Guys on any of your pod platforms. That is the podcast where we cover every single Harrison Ford movie, starting with the very first one, Dead Heat on a Merry-Go-Round, the very first time he punches anybody, which is Jack Lemmon in the movie Love, and then we carry that through the rest of his career. We're up to More American Graffiti with William Bibbiani will be coming out this week.
I have a very close personal relationship with William Bibbiani, good friend of mine, and excellent coach, co-manager, teacher extravaganza, really the heart and soul of Quirky Mercs.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Great guy.
Sean, where can the folks find Yusa?
Here.
Yusa.
Here, that's it. No, you over here.
There he is, right
at
there.
Sean Wingblade. Got all the things up above me. I got my FCA belt I'm the rightful IG champion. I'm going to call out everyone else.
Oh, you created a belt?
Whether we did a title match, a real one or not, or if I'm the self-proclaimed champion. It is what it is. So
Hey, self-proclaiming is the way we have to do this a lot of times.
until if
Sean
someone
will
doesn't
be
challenge
on
me.
Behavioral Geekology talking about his denial.
Yes, coming soon. Follow me there, and also on Twitch playing video games randomly. I don't have a schedule, but whenever I decide to have time or bug my wife, who's sitting right there, and she's wondering why I'm talking while she's working, on Twitch at twitch.tv/SwiftWingblade. It's both of our names. Put them together. Fine.
I am starting to get the feeling that with all the people I know through Schmodown and Schmodown Ancillary, friends of friends and everything, I have one friend on PlayStation and just my cousin, but I have a feeling if I went around and got all of your names, I have a feeling you're all on there as well.
Oh, well, I recently have a PlayStation, so now you can add me too. I was just on Xbox, but now I'm on PlayStation.
If you'd like to go on Warzone and get killed with me, we could do that together.
That's all I do on Warzone.
That's all there is. That is the game where you get killed.
If I'm playing with 3 better people than then sometimes we win.
Yeah.
But it really depends.
The game's impossible. Just impossible.
Well,
impossible even for a computer.
I won't hurt everybody's eye holes by going full screen, but I'll let you know that you can find me here on Flick and Reel. We are now back to doing weekly shows. We took a couple weeks off for the holidays, so for right now, you can catch us Thursday nights about 8 p.m. with special guests such as Adam Witt. Next week, we have Mara Kanopic, and the week after that, we have what? Who? Laura Kelly, Star Wars competitor.
Oh my God.
It's going to be a real good time.
That's great.
In short, what Jesse's trying to say is we have a lot smarter people than us.
It's called
Helping us.
flex what you can. So look forward to that. And then every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, me and my co-host Scott Fox will be breaking down the movie news of the week. That is until Optimus Prime starts shutting down theaters again. So until then, thank you guys so much. Make sure, as always, to
It's
keep
a Mega
it real.
Supreme is shutting things down.
Yeah, that's right. Megatron taking it all out. All right, guys. Until next time, keep it real. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to our special guest, Adam. It's been a pleasure. If we're going to have a longer episode, I appreciate it being because of you.
Every episode turns out longer when I'm on it. It's so funny. Everybody that comes in with an hour, and then I get on the show, and we always go an hour and a half. Even the Monday show with Paul. We can't. I talk too much.
Adam, the podcast Viagra Wit. That's what it is here. All right, guys. We'll catch
Make
you
you feel
on
virile.
Saturday.
On fucking real.
On fucking real.
And now looking at this logo, you can't unsee it, right?
This is the sound of dun, 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 dun. It's the Flick and Reel Show.